Welcome to the Chamber Connection. I'm Mary Hodson, President of the Chamber of Commerce here in Hutchinson, Minnesota. Hashtag much in Hutch. I'm so glad that you joined me today because it's December, it's year end, and it's time to start thinking about what we've done in 2018 and celebrating and moving on to 2019. Because of course, we don't just sit on our laurels in our spaces with smiles on our faces. No, we have moved on to planning things for 2019. And with me, speaking of 2019, is Roman Blocki, the chair for the Chamber Board of 2019. Welcome, my friend.
Well, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, this is going to be fun.
Yeah, I hope so.
No, we are going to have fun. When don't we have fun?
We always have fun.
We always have fun, even if Mary's sitting under the table. That's a side joke you don't need to know really right now. You can ask later. Okay, so we're going to talk about what's happening, what we've been doing, and what we're going to be doing.
Yeah.
And it's always fun to have the chair on. So you are going to be the chairman of the board.
Yeah, it's a heavy role.
Yeah, you wore a jacket today.
I did.
You very much.
I did. I know
Yeah.
you were surprised when I walked in.
I was, because you know you had your ambassador shirt on this morning. You were busy doing that stuff.
Yeah, we were all over town this morning.
And now you went and changed because this is important and you have a big role and you're used to playing big roles. Let's just talk a little bit about you first.
Okay.
Let's talk about Welcome Home and Woodstone Senior Living.
Yeah.
Tell us about the positions that you have there and what you do.
Yeah, so I'm the Chief Operations Officer for both organizations. I've been there for 18 years. We were just talking about this the other day because I was trying to figure out when it was that I got involved in the company, and I started with them in 2001. So, and I started as an overnight care provider, my first role, and then kind of moved up to marketing director and then into regional director and just continue to work my way up. It's a great organization to be a part of. It's a family-run organization. And where else do you get to go to work every day and just work with a bunch of grandmas and grandpas? I mean, that's like my favorite part of the job.
Always
it's just getting to hang out with all these people, and they're interesting stories, and our staff is awesome, and we've just had a great time over the last 18 years doing this. It's been great.
So on the Welcome Home management part, you manage several different properties.
Yeah.
How many?
Yeah, we manage 10 proproperties right now across Minnesota and Wisconsin.
Yeah, and then you own some of those as well.
We own, there's 3 Woodstone buildings that we own.
Okay.
Yep. Those are in Hutch, New Ulm, and Rice Lake, Wisconsin.
So if I could juggle,
Yep.
I would I know that's not how you do it.
Yeah,
but
not quite. It's close.
I can't juggle.
Yeah.
But you're juggling a lot.
Yeah. And
Lots
it's,
of things
like I said,
going
it's a family-run company, so there's 4 of us in the office, and we're on the road visiting different places, and my team at Welcome Home is fantastic because they get stuff done, and that's been great.
You work with your dad, who's now kind of retiring.
Yep.
Kind of retiring.
He's never going to quit working, but he's always around, right?
And then you work with Sister Sarah.
Yep, my sister's there, and my brother-in-law works directly with me too. So we only have one person in our office that's not family.
Okay, so you can all send Don a message of support and good cheer. Because family.
There's always dynamics in family, right? Yeah,
right?
In any family business, anyone that you ever talk to, there's different dynamics that are in there. But when I started with the company, one of the first things I sat down with Dean, who's my dad, I sat down and said, "I'm not going to call you Dad anymore, and that I know it's going to be difficult and different." But this is a business. We have to run a business, and that's what it has to be. So we started early on with that, and it's continued the whole time, and it's been great. So, there's still the dynamics, and you're always going to get treated just a little bit, different, because your dad can talk to you differently than you can talk to an employee. So, that's what it is. But it's been a great working environment, and I think it's like I said, we've got great people that we work with every day, and that's what makes it fun.
So I've had the blessing of being able to meet some of the people that you work with from your different areas. They're an energetic, passionate, committed group of people.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they've been fantastic, and we try to work with each location that we're in. We're trying to hire the right fit, right? So part of his qualifications, obviously, you got to know what you're doing in the job, but we really look for people who can connect with people. And if you've got a great personality, that's going to go a long ways in this business. So
and we always say, if you know one chamber, you know one chamber, or if you know one community, you know one community. If you know one senior living housing development, you know one, because they each have their own aura, their own culture, right?
Yep. Each one's a little bit different. We even run it in a standpoint of each community is a little bit different. Like New Ulm and Hutchinson are 2 very different cultures, right? New Ulm is super heavy on the German side, and they really celebrate that, and it's very cool to see. We bring that into our buildings there too. So if we don't have, sauerkraut on the menu at least once a month or once a week sometimes, depending on the year, we hear about it.
Right.
So it's just different. So,
Yep.
and their activities that they do there and the things that they do to have fun it's different in each community. And we really try to build the experience in each of those communities to be separate on purpose and it's gonna evolve over time too, because you've got, I've got residents that are living in the building that we have here in Hutch now, but in a year might be a little bit different.
Yeah.
And they're going to bring different things that they want to the building. And right now we don't have a lot of people, for example, that do gardening, but I might in 6 months.
Right.
So now our activities will shift a little bit in 6 months to how do we build the gardening club? How do we do this? So every building's a little bit different.
We've talked a little bit about music in their home, right? When you and I are there, it's going to be a whole lot different music.
Yes, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, I'm looking at it now, and speaking of my dad, he's played guitar forever. I just have a feeling that there's going to be a garage band of some sort at some point down the road,
Right.
and I'm going to have to deal with it. So it's something that we're looking forward to, actually.
Yeah.
I think, look, when I first got in the business in 2001, they were playing bingo 3 days a week, and there's no way we would do that now. I mean, it happens, don't get me wrong, because
Right.
who doesn't like, throwing up a dauber and,
Right.
yelling out bingo.
But
it's very little. Yeah, it's
Right.
different. So
A lot of different activities to meet a lot of different needs.
Yeah.
And bingo isn't a one, it's not for everybody, right?
right. But we just want to try and match, the activities to what they want to do.
Yeah.
And that's, you want to go someplace where you're going to have fun and the food is good, typically. And that's what we're trying to do.
So, great segue into what we just had, Taste of the Holidays.
Yeah.
Ambassadors host it. You're also an ambassador. You
Yep.
are the past president of the ambassadors. You've got
Yep.
nothing going on in
Yeah.
your world. You're going to find out how much Roman is really engaged in the chamber during this segment, I think. But just had Taste of the Holidays.
Yeah.
Woodstone, along with many other businesses, are
Yeah.
there. And one of the things that we always put a teaser out there is what's Woodstone going to bring for food?
Yeah.
Because food is an important way for people to celebrate
Yep.
every day.
Yep, food is great, and we try to, we participate in the Taste of the Holidays simply just to be there, right? We want to support the chamber, we want to support the ambassadors because they do both organizations do a lot for the city of Hutchinson and the things that we do here, the things that we have. So we want to participate in that, and one of the ways that we can, because we've got a great food service director in our building. She does wonderful food, and she kind of looks forward to it. She starts planning on that stuff a month to 2 months out, and just thinking like, what can we do this year that's going to be different? So, but the Taste of Holidays was great this year.
Yeah, it was really fun. And I'm just going to say she can always bring back the adult
The
grilled
adult
cheese.
grilled cheese, yeah, that was really good. That was stellar.
Just stellar, yeah. So that's a great event for the ambassadors. 400 people sell out every year. 400 people come to eat and drink as much as they can in
Yeah.
a period of time. Some nice music, some great prizes. What do the ambassadors do with those funds then?
So what the ambassadors do is we want to try and find projects that we can do to give back to the community as well. So we've done a lot of things throughout the years. We were just talking about some of the things today. We did some, and just kind of service projects. I really want to touch on that more than anything else. Is we helped paint the Heriting Merrow House, the Carriage House part of
Yeah.
that this year. We did mulching around this building that we're in today.
Yeah.
So we did mulch in Hutch. That was different. So we did a little play off of that. But one of the things that we really try to do is find projects that we can do to give back to the community.
Yep.
And every year, we try to spend all the way up to our budget that we've made back. And we try really hard every year. It doesn't quite happen, but we try to get there as much as we can. And the ambassadors participate in so many things in town, and from helping with Water Carnival and sponsoring the junior candidate there. There's a lot of things for Taste of Hutch,
And then
Taste of
LeaderCast.
Holidays. LeaderCast, they sponsor LeaderCast. The last 2 years, I think
Yep.
it's been. They were the lead sponsor of the event out at the winery. So, and that's a great day too for business leaders from not just Hutchinson, from around the area.
Around the area,
I mean,
yeah.
that sells out too every year, and that's
Yeah.
a lot of people that go to that. So
Yeah, I think we
it's a
had
great
like
event.
250 people there this
Yeah.
year, and that's phenomenal. It's a great way for people to come together and listen to great speakers that we wouldn't otherwise be able to get, our
Absolutely.
hands on or our ears to.
Yeah.
And so we are really appreciative that the ambassadors help make that happen.
Yeah, it's a great thing to do.
Great day.
Yep.
Yeah. And as the welcoming and social arm of the chamber, you want to be able to be supportive of our businesses, and our mission is to support promote and engage businesses, and certainly you help do that when you're doing those things.
Yeah, I mean, anytime a new business comes to town, you want to try and help them find ways for them to be successful too, right? So when the ambassadors, when we learn of a new business or a new location or whatever, we go out, we learn about that, and then it's kind of on us to help spread that around, because we want to see every business that comes to town be successful. So anything the chamber and the ambassador specifically can do to help that, that's what we want to do.
So maybe you've seen in the paper before, there's a nice little ad about more progress happening in Hutchinson, and you'll see the list of names of the ambassadors and where they've been, and then you now become an ambassador for that business as well. So, and that's what we were doing this morning when you were all spiffy in your blue. Yeah. Great. So let's talk about, while we're talking about ambassadors, let's talk about some of the other committees that we have and that you're part of. So leadership.
Leadership
Institute.
Leadership
you're part
Institute
of the design
is great.
team.
Yeah, it's a great organization. And we've got a great team that puts that together every year. I mean, it's obviously led by you and does a fantastic job with that, no doubt about it. But the group that we have together with that is just really a unique group. They care about leadership in a way that I think is different from other people that have been around before. They've taken on leadership roles in their organization. They've gone through trainings for that, and they bring unique perspectives. Each of them in that group bring a unique perspective to it. And I think it's really turned, I know a lot of people, the way I'll say this is, I know a lot of people who have gone through the program in the past, and they go, I wish we would have done that when we were going through it. I mean, the program's changed, even from when I went through it, 6 years ago or whatever it was. It's completely different now. So those people who have gone through it before, and they said, I've went through that before, they really haven't gone through this program. But it's great. People go through it, and not only do they learn about themselves and how to lead themselves, but they also learn how to lead teams. And then on top of that, they learn more about their city and how it operates. And it was fascinating going on the trip. This is the first time I've gone on this city trip, and to learn how the wastewater treatment plant works and how the city gets its water and all of that stuff, Creekside, all of those kind of things play together and how that all works, and to hear from the EDA and have the police chief come and that whole group that was there. I think eyes really open for that, and people got to understand and go, there's a lot that goes into this. So it's a really great part of it. So like I said, there's leadership. You learn about your city. You learn how things come to town and how new businesses can start here. And then you learn how to lead teams. I think that's really great.
We have the best quote. I got an email the other day, and I shared it with the team, and it was from John Sankin, who's going through the program right now. And John said, if you live or breathe in Hutchinson, you need to go through the leadership program.
It was a great quote.
Because you have no idea what's happening. And I love the city one that we go through, because there's so many myths, right? The rumor mill, things like that. So I always like to call it a little bit softer. There's so many myths out there, and people just assume things that are happening. And I love watching those aha moments when people go, oh, well, that totally makes sense. I get it. And until you're put into that position of that classroom setting and you're learning with everyone else, sometimes people aren't listening to what the message is. And so I think that's really beneficial.
I don't think they realize how much work goes into some of the things that we just take for granted too. You know, like water as an example, and how much work goes into it. It doesn't come out of the ground clean. Which, you don't really think about it because it just happens. You turn on the faucet, it's there. But, and like you said, getting those aha moments, and really, like I said, people going, oh, that's how business comes. You hear so many, well, why don't we have this in town? Well, there's a process, and there's reasons why a company may or may not come, and you learn that, and that's great. That people go, oh, that makes more sense.
Matt Yannick shared, the city administrator shared that somebody called him up and said, why doesn't the city open up a steakhouse? Because
the city's going to do that.
The city isn't in the restaurant business.
They're not in the restaurant business, so
They're in the liquor business, they're in the Creekside soil business, but they're in the electricity business.
That's right.
We generate our own power as well, but they're not in the restaurant business, and people assume that the city goes out and says, hey, so-and-so, come and be in our city, and that's not the case. And
I think the one thing that's unique about Hutchinson too is the one-stop shop that they do here, and we learn all about how that works and how when a new business comes, they get everybody in the room, all talking at once. And I've mentioned we're in many different towns, and we've dealt with all these different city councils and stuff like that, and it's really great to come here because You come in one time, you get all the information you need, and you can move forward.
Yeah.
In other towns, it's multiple visits, it's multiple times you have to come in, and everything gets handled. Everyone's in the same room, so if anybody has a question that comes up, it
Then
just
it's
works.
coming up right then
Yep.
and there instead of coming back time and time again. And if you were in the process of opening or building a business, you probably don't necessarily have time for that.
Right.
Right, that
Yeah.
back and forth.
Yep. No, I think leadership is just a great opportunity where you get to learn those kinds of things. So it's a great program, and I think everybody should go through it. I learned so much when I went through it, and
Yeah.
now being a part of it every year, it's fun.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
fun.
and you said that it's changed because we keep it up to date with topical
Yeah.
business issues.
Yep.
And we find some things are more important than others. We add as necessary.
Mm-hmm.
And that really, I think, lends itself also to the quality of the
Yep,
program.
I do too. Yep, it's a
Good.
great program.
So leadership happens from September to May.
Yep.
There are 10 sessions. People can register and apply for that, June, July timeframe. And then if they're accepted, they're in the program for the year. So that's something, if you haven't heard about it before or know somebody who might be interested, that's an opportunity for people.
Yeah.
Because gosh, yeah, it's kind of the highlight for us.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is such an important program, and businesses use it for retention. They use it to get people engaged in the community.
Yeah.
They use it simply for the leadership skills that people can gain from it. So it's very valuable to
Yeah,
our
I
businesses,
think so.
obviously. Yeah. All right, let's move on to something that's new. Blah, blah, blah. Think local.
Think local. Yeah. Well, it's an organization that's name change, right?
Right.
They're kind of going through some changes.
So
and
our
it used
viewers
to
are
be
used to Bring It Home.
Bring It Home, and they changed their title to Think Local instead. And I think one of the things that Bring It Home did in the past is they had their event out at the fairgrounds that everybody was used to.
Yep.
And they did a lot of things to kind of promote local. But Bring It Home didn't it didn't click with everybody. Think
Right.
Local does.
Right.
And that's one organization that I think is doing a really great job of trying to get people to understand the impact that comes from spending your money here in town.
Yeah.
It's easy to go to St. Cloud. It's easy to go to Mankato to buy certain things. But when you do that, you're spending money in other towns and providing jobs in other towns rather than providing it here. So if we take a step back and we're like, well, why doesn't that business be in town? Well, because money's being spent somewhere else. If we spent it here, we'd have more businesses here. And I think that's one of the things that Think Local does a great job of, is supporting local people who live in town through salary and
Yep.
jobs. So that's important.
Yep, and when Bring It Home came about, it was 10 years ago, so it was right before the recession, right? So it was about, and online was just starting,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So those words that we know, everybody knows, where you go on and you click and it's here on your doorstep in
Yep.
2 days if you want it to be. That was just getting started. And it was about spending your money, bringing those dollars that you spent out in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, now that the online portion is so huge, I mean, astronomical. The numbers are crazy. We want people to think local even before they click.
Yeah.
Because there's opportunities locally to click.
Yes, there is.
They get credit for it here. So your
Yep.
dollars are staying local still.
Yep.
And so think local before you decide where you're going to go eat. Think local before you decide where you're going to buy something. We have a lot of businesses who will order things special for you.
Yeah.
Or they know more about the product than somebody who's online and now you have to return it.
Yeah.
I hate returns.
Returns online are almost, it's like getting your tooth pulled. It's not fun.
I don't like that.
But
No.
you think about clicking and think of just two businesses that come to the top of my head right now that are chamber members is Walmart and Cashwise, where you're now able to order stuff online and go and pick it up.
Yeah.
Right there without having to go through the parking and walking all the way up. And so they're even local businesses are starting to think of ways to adapt to that online presence as well. And I think it's going to make a difference.
Absolutely. And you can order through a lot of stores that we have in town, even non-chamber members.
Yep.
And you can go and pick it up and have it right then,
Right then.
instead of later. And you know what? Sometimes it's fun to actually go in the store and see somebody
Oh, yeah.
or you haven't seen for a while.
Absolutely, yeah.
We always tease that there's some of us who may avoid certain times of the day because we want to actually get done and through a store
Right.
with our shopping. But it is part of it is we're humans and we're
Yeah.
meant to have human interaction.
Yep.
And we're not in any way saying that we want you to spend all of your dollars here. That's not what we're saying, but we do want you to think about it more frequently and be proud to support the community
Yeah.
that you live, work, and play in.
Yeah.
So we know there's certain things that I'm going to tell you right now, I don't do it a lot. But I did have to this weekend because I couldn't find what I needed. I looked for it in every store. I beat down every store, but I did have to purchase it online because I couldn't get it somewhere else. But I was thinking about what my local choices were first.
Yep. Yep. And that organization is really good too. They got great committee put together for
Oh
that
gosh,
too.
we've got like 15 people on that committee, and people really are passionate about doing things that are fun. So if you heard about the ping pong ball drop,
Yes, that group put it together, and the ping pong ball drop was really a lot of fun, and I think we had a pretty good turnout for it too this
Yeah.
first time going through.
yeah,
I mean,
we had
what
like
do we
300.
think?
We had like 300 people
Yeah.
down there when the balls went down,
Yep,
right?
yep.
You were way up there.
I was up in the top with one of the committee members, Brian Renner. We went up in the bucket and dropped them. We have a plan for next year of how to spread that out just a little bit, so they don't drop right down and bounce a little
First
bit.
year's always a
So we
learning
wanna-
experience,
Yeah, we want
right?
to get it so that we get it towards everybody else too. But you know what was great is that group that was there. The balls that came down, because we only let them have one, so they were picking them up and tossing them to the back, so everybody got a chance.
Oh, and
to
I
have
didn't
it.
get to
And
see that from
was
my
fun. Well,
point
we
of
could
view.
we could see it because we're
Right.
looking down from
well, and
several
everybody's 3 feet
up.
taller than me, so I don't see anything like that, right?
But it was
Yeah.
a cool event. They had that, and Landy's was down there with hot cider and stuff like that. So there was that. The carolers were there. So the atmosphere really kind of kicked off Small Business Saturday, which I think was another part of that day that just went really well.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a great day, and we
Yeah.
have a lot of fun doing it too.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing more fun than going up and giving a gift card to a 12-year-old girl who's buying a toolbox for her dad for Christmas. That was fun.
Oh.
And as you're walking away from them and you hear them screaming behind you, that's pretty cool.
Oh,
so
that's
we had a lot of fun doing
sweet.
that.
Yeah. So board members
Yep.
and then Think Local committee members, as well as the ambassadors, went out with gift cards that we
Yep.
had pre-purchased. There was about $3,000 of pre-purchased cards.
Yeah.
And went back to those stores.
Yep. So and that's we talked about one of the things that the ambassadors do. They spent I think it was over $1,000 on
yeah.
that. The chamber spent money on that, and then getting that group together to go around. I mean, they really do look forward to that.
Yeah.
To go around and that day I think helps people think local too, because we have people that come from out of town to Hutch because those events are happening in town as well. So
Yeah, because we
I
heard
think it's
stories
great.
yesterday from the committee about people who had said, I drove 30 minutes because I heard about this and I
Yeah.
just think it's fun and I want to be part of it.
Yeah.
And if we can incent people to come down, we know that they have got shopping to do,
Yeah.
whether it's for themselves or a holiday gift, right?
Exactly.
It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Maybe they're looking for something they didn't even realize.
Yep.
So it's super fun to be able to do that. And I'm just going to share with everybody that it did not take me long to figure out I was not going up.
Yeah, it was
It's
a
very
little
clear to me that I was never going to go up.
Yeah, we went up. I've been up on one of those things a couple of times before, so I knew it was going to rock a little bit. But as I went up, Brian had never been up there, I don't think. But he was grabbing for the sides, pretty quick because you get up there,
Right. If it moves a
Several
half
feet.
inch down at the bottom, it's going to rock a
It's-
little bit
yeah.
more on the
It's a
top.
little windy and all that kind of stuff. We actually just kind of got our footing and we're like, we're not going to move as
Yeah.
much as we can because it was,
Brian said he was afraid that he would just tip the whole thing over and be a faceplant, and he just thought that would not be good
Yeah.
advertisement for the event.
well, the railings come up to his knees, so he's just a tall guy.
Right.
So, the railings came up to here on me and they came up to about
Okay,
here.
so
on
I
me,
wouldn't even
so.
be able to reach over,
Yeah,
right? That's
probably,
pretty much
yeah.
where we're at with
We
that.
were safe. It was just, you're not ready for it,
Yeah,
so-
exactly.
But it was a lot of fun to do that.
Good. Well, thanks for helping with that
Yeah,
too.
absolutely.
I mean, just think of this. You're coming into this organization, into this new position. You're like the head of all of this.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So let's talk about one of our newer committees that has a specialized group of people that work with it, and that's Pulse.
Pulse, yes.
So Pulse, let me see if I can remember, is professionals under 40 learning, socializing, leading, socializing, and educating.
You got it.
Oh, wow. It's been a long half hour already. Yeah. Young people who've taken this over, I don't do anything with it.
Yeah.
They just run with it.
I think for younger professionals that are coming to town, whether they've lived here or not, it's tough to get connected, right? You're busy with work, you're busy doing things, and maybe you're in softball or whatever, but you're not able to connect with other business professionals that are the same age, going through the same things that you are, and climbing the ladder, those kinds of things. You have somebody to talk with. And Pulse does a lot of things with that group, and I know they do a lot more than what I'm talking about here, but I think that's one of the great things. We didn't have this when I was first moved to town 20 years ago. We didn't have anything like that. So I was telling somebody earlier, I'm like, when I first moved to town, it was harder to meet people. But an event like this, or a group like this, would have made that a lot easier.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and they've been evolving too. So they've been testing the waters. What works in our community for a young group like this? So next year they're going to have 6 different education events and then social events throughout the year as well. And I think it's just getting people who have the same experiences, right?
Yeah.
You and I have some of the same experiences, and I'm a little bit older, so maybe you and I don't have all the same experiences. But when they can get together with somebody who, like themselves, doesn't remember 9/11, right? I mean, that's some of these young people. It helps them build that. And like you said, even if they're from Hutchinson, well, people knew you back when you were knee-high to a grasshopper, when you were singing in the play, when you were Joseph, playing the Technicolor Dreamcoat, right?
Right.
Gonna have to pick on Matt a little bit. So we'll pick on Ludo another time.
Yeah.
But people need to learn who you are now as an adult and a professional.
Right.
As do you.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So that's helpful.
Yeah, I think great organization. I'm glad that this was kind of brought to Hutch for people who are, like younger and they're just getting into it and they're learning what they're doing and getting to meet people. So
Well,
I
and
think
it was
it's
brought
great.
to us by some young professionals. We didn't have it. We didn't look at it and say, "Oh, we need something." They said, "We need something."
Right.
And we'll run it.
So, and that's great because you mentioned that it's the chamber doesn't organize it. I mean, they're part of the chamber, but you don't play a role in that necessarily. We don't fit age-wise, so we're not able to go. I know. I don't have a hair anymore, so that's where I fit into that one.
I don't have real neck parts anymore. I don't fit into it, right?
But I think it's a great thing to have in town, and I'm glad that it's run by them because I think when you have an organization that's like that, they're going to take ownership of it. Is the right word.
And I don't want to leave out agribusiness. They just had a great week. They had their seminar that they do with the extension. They just named their Egg Person of the Year, which is Ted Matthews. Hopefully you saw the Hutchinson Leader article that Jeremy did. Jeremy Jones, he did a phenomenal job. Thank you, Jeremy, for that. They also do Farm Fatigue. They do Dairy Day. So they've got a lot of things going on as well.
They do.
So we've covered a lot today.
We did.
Yeah, we've covered a lot. So if you have more questions about what we're doing at the Chamber this coming up year, or if you've heard about something that might be really interesting to you and you want more information, you can call us at the Chamber. We're at 587-5252, or you can give us an email at info@ExploreHutchinson. And you can always go to the website at explorehutchinson.com. There is much in Hutch. There always has been much in Hutch. There always will be much in Hutch. I hope that you love where you live, and I hope that you have a wonderful Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you for being here.
Absolutely. Glad to be here.
I hope that next year is rewarding for you.
I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great year.
I get to work with another friend. Have a great month. We'll see you later.